All right. Good morning. Great Thursday morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Cesar Mascoro Jr. I'm with Manufactured Home Sales Mastery, and we're in with our 15 Minutes to Mastery, episode number 337, where this week, as you may or may not know, we've been talking about leadership. We've been talking about everything that has to do with leadership, because as we want to do each and every day, we want to get you some information, inspiration, and motivation to get your day started off on the right foot. And today, we're talking about strategic thinking when it comes to leadership. And as you know, I would say it all the time, and I'm going to say it again. You do not have to be a manager to be a leader within your organization. As a matter of fact, everyone is a leader, no matter what your title is. Because even as a housing consultant, as a community manager, you're still leading your clients, you're leading the people around you, you're leading your family. So you are still a leader. And because of that, you need to understand how leaders think, how leaders operate, and how you can be the most influential person that you can be. Just like I tell my boys every time they're going to school, be a leader, not a follower. I'm telling you the same thing. Be a leader, not a follower. Today, we're talking about strategic thinking, like I said. And today's quote says, strategic thinking is the act of visualizing the future, of planning forward and making a commitment to the long-term results, no matter what you may encounter during the journey. That's a lot to take in and a lot to unpack. But in essence, what we're saying here is strategic thinking is thinking about the long-term goal, but focusing in on the things that you've got to do today and tomorrow and then week and next week to make those long-term goals, so that you do not let the obstacles, the punch in the gut, whatever may happen, pipeline falling apart, you don't let those things get in the way of your long-term goals. So we're going to talk about that. And it reminds me of, as early on in my career, and I'm talking about even way before manufactured homes. This is back when I first started my design career, home designer career, and I had a boss who always just seemed to be ahead. He always seemed like every time we were coming to him with the question, he already had things planned out for that. He seemed to know, like he was, 2 to 3 steps ahead of us all of the time. And that stuck with me. It stuck with me because I was not only was I impressed by it, but it stuck with me because of the fact that it just made things go so much smoother, so much better. Not to say that we didn't have problems, not to say that we didn't have things that had to be dealt with, fires to put out. That's all the time. That's business. You're never going to get away from it. It's never going to get perfect. As a matter of fact, this morning on my way into the office, I was listening to a podcast from Andy Frisella where he was talking about just that. There will always be problems. So if you think that it's going to be perfect, you're setting yourself up for failure. But anyways, going back to what I was telling you about. When you are ahead, you're able to deal with the problems quicker. Okay. And so that stuck with me as I went along. And because of that, throughout my career since then, I've always wanted to do the best I possibly could to stay 2 steps ahead of anyone that I had to report to, whether it was my boss, whether it was the owner. And so when I'm talking about my career in manufactured homes, I'm talking about like when I first got into the business, and the first place I was at for about 7 years. Right, manufactured housing consultants, just outside San Antonio. I always wanted to be 2 steps ahead of the owner because I knew the questions were coming. I knew what questions were going to come, and I wanted to always be ahead, and I wanted to stay as ahead of him as possible, so I didn't have to deal with the wrath that would come with it if I wasn't. And people would look at me and say, like, how is it that you're the one that doesn't get chewed out? You're the one that it seems to be anointed. Well, it was just that I put the thinking into place, and I was thinking of what he was trying to get accomplished for the company. And because I started there as a salesperson, moved up to operations manager, then became a general manager of 2 locations for him. But I knew the vision, and because I knew the vision, I worked towards the vision. And so it helped me get things in place and be ahead of time. And then towards the end of my career at the other place I was at, I always seemed to be behind. And so I've been on both sides of it. So we're going to talk about that, because strategic thinking is just that. Like I said, it's being able to anticipate what is going on, or plan for the long term, but understanding the short term steps. So for you right now, You housing consultants, you community managers, or anyone watching this, no matter what it is that you're trying to do, you have to sit down and you have to think, okay, where do I want to be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now? And don't think that that's magically just going to happen because you're in the business, whatever business that may be. Just because you're in it doesn't mean you're going to be around 2, 5, 10 years from now. Just because you're in it doesn't mean you're going to accomplish the goals that you set for 2, 5, 10 years from now. You have to then break that down into, what do I need to do right now? What happens? What has to happen today, tomorrow, this week, next week, this month, next month, and over the next few months and the next following years. And you work that plan. That's strategic thinking. I'm starting a business. I need a website. Do I have a website? No. Okay, let me get that website up. Right? What is, if you're a housing consultant? Okay, well, I'm already at the end of 2024. What's going to happen over these next 3 months? Because what I do these next 3 months is going to affect how my 2025 starts. So I better start planning now for what I want to accomplish in 2025 so that I can put those steps into place right now. And for you managers, general managers, same thing. What is the plan for next year? What is the plan for the following year? What's the plan for 2025 and 2026? Where do you see your location? What needs to happen? Who do you need to add to the team? Who needs to maybe be replaced within the team? Who's not living up to their fullest potential and not coming along with us and growing the way that we need them to? And what adjustments need to be made? What has to happen with the inventory? What has to happen with the pricing? What new contractors do we need to establish relationships with to grow? Because you're not going to do it alone. That is strategic thinking. And so when you have those plans in place, what that allows for is, when 2 of your salespeople aren't hitting their numbers, you still have these other 2 that are gaining steam or operating on all cylinders. And so that you may not hit the full numbers, but you're still making progress and can make the adjustments that need to be made. Maybe it's a training program that needs to be implemented. Maybe it's better role playing. Maybe it's getting more involved in the sales. Maybe it's being more involved in making sure that everybody's making phone calls. Whatever it is, you need to start thinking that through now for the long term. And you always stay focused on the long term. You may have heard this said before. You never compromise the goal. You never compromise the goal. You don't scale back the goal. Oh, well, it doesn't look like we're going to hit our numbers, so we're going to scale it back. No. Man, right now we're talking about October 3rd. If you are not on track to hit 2024's goal, it does not mean you scale back the goal. Oh, well, we were planning, I'm a housing consultant. I was planning on delivering 40 homes and I'm at 27. It doesn't mean, well, as long as I hit 35, I'm good. No. It just means, what's the amount of work I need to put in right now over these next 30 to 60 days to be able to end the year at my 40. That may mean you have to put in twice, 3 times, 10 times as much work, so many more ads, so many more calls. Put in the work, because here's what's going to happen along the way. When something happens that affects you, that's going to set you back, that maybe you're being affected by, whether it's in a business or a personal manner, because you have that plan in place and you're so focused on it, that does not affect you as much. You're able to overcome, you're able to move forward, you're able to push ahead and stay on track as best as possible. You don't compromise the goal. You're flexible with the path you're taking to get to the goal. You're flexible with the plan, not the goal. Too many people are flexible with their goal. And that creates problems because you start compromising on those things. So that's why when we talk about how high performers operate, because I'm sure you want to be a high performer. If you're not right now, if you don't consider yourself to be one, we want you to be a high performer. We talk about all the time, getting people to operate at an elite level. And that means you're a high performer. So we here at Manufactured Home Sales Mastery, our goal is to help you become a high performer, someone who's consistent, someone who is applying themselves and working towards what they're after. So as a high performer, these high performers, they don't get caught up in the daily grind without keeping their eye on the bigger picture. Like, I understand all the things I need to do today are for what I'm planning for in the next 3, 6, 12 months. But I'm working at it today. And that's why I bust my butt. And that's why you should be busting your butt based on what you want to do the next 3, 6, 12 months from now. And you're saying that every action that you take is either going to help or it's going to hurt that long-term goal. It's about the long-term goal. You can't hit a target you don't see, right? So instead of reacting to every challenge that comes your way, you're proactive, you're planning, you're getting ahead of it. You're not reacting to things. You're moving ahead so that you can be in the best position possible as a high performer for success. And whether it's within your team, right? And helping them, hey, you know what? If you're a housing consultant right now or community manager, you're noticing that some of the other people on your team aren't up to par. And maybe management's busy, caught up, or just not involved. And you can step up and now start getting with your team and say, hey guys, this is where we need to be from here. This is where we're struggling. Let's put a plan in place together so that we can address those issues. We can address those things and continue to grow and get better so we can hit our numbers, because we need to do it and they need you to step up, even if you don't have management in your title. Right? So you focus on this month's sales, but you're working on today's action items with that goal in mind. And so along the way, you're building the relationships. In your case, as a housing consultant or community manager, those relationships are going to be the people that you're dealing with, your leads. Maybe they're not all buying this month, but they may be buying in November, December, January, that are all playing part into your goal. But you have to start building relationships. And how do you build relationships? Marketing and phones, plain and simple, right? Anticipate those shifts. What's happening in the market? Okay, we saw a little bit of a interest rate drop. Okay, where are prices going? What's the backlog right now at the factories? How long is it taking to get a home from the point I order it? Which product line can I get faster? Which ones take the longest? Which ones have better margins in them? Things of that nature. Preparing yourself so that you can operate and know what you are trying to get done. If you are just going at it thinking that I'm in the element, I am here and it's going to happen, I'm here to tell you, you probably won't be watching this a year from now because you're probably not going to be in the industry. Just facts, right? So if you want to be that high performer, you have to understand that you're working for the long-term goals, but you're putting in the work right now and you're able to pivot when the time comes, when it's necessary. So what are the top 5 ways that anybody watching this, whether you're in manufactured home sales or not, can operate using strategic thinking? First and foremost, you have to set your long-term goals. What are your goals for 2025? Hey, by the way, special announcement coming at you tomorrow about just that. All right, so be ready for it. It's going to be awesome news. I'm excited about it. But anyways, you got to set your long-term goals. What are your goals for 2025? What are your goals for 2026? What are your goals for 2030? Can you believe that? It's crazy to even think 2030, right? 2030, 2035, 2040. Caesar, I don't even know what I'm going to be doing. How do I even know if I'm going to be in this industry? Well, you got to plan as if. Or if you're planning on exiting the industry to do something else, well, it's going to take money to do whatever else that you're thinking of doing. So where are you going to be 5-10 years from now? Plan that out, make it happen, and go do that. But you have to set those long-term goals, and then you have to align your short-term actions with those long-term goals. Why don't you start a business? Okay. Who is your customer? Where's your website? What's your social media like? Are you posting right now on daily for your business, even though maybe it doesn't exist? Maybe you're just doing it part-time. Are you doing that? Or are you just, we'll see what happens. Nothing's ever going to happen if you're just going to see what happens. You have to put in the short-term actions for those long-term goals. And you obviously have to anticipate the industry trends. Where is it going? Whatever business you're looking to get started, whatever, or if you're in manufactured homes, this is where you're going to be. Like I mentioned before, factories, contractors, pricing, financing. What's that look like? How's it going to affect me? How's it going to affect my market? How is it going to affect our clients? And base everything on that and build the relationships that you need for future success. Hey, your setup contractor right now is taking too long to get home. Okay, what other setup contractors are out there? Are you calling them? Are you having meetings with them? Are you trying to get somebody else set up to be a vendor for you to be able to get that done so you can move faster so your homes aren't sitting at the factory and you're being left at the end of the month with less houses delivered because the other guy or gal is getting their homes delivered before you? You need to be thinking about that and building those relationships that you need to set yourself up. And lastly, you have to be ready to pivot. You have to be ready for those things that go wrong. Lost your pipeline? Okay, what's going to happen now? All right. Lost most of your deals? How are you going to build them back up? Where are they coming from? Which leads do you have that were right on the fence? What's going to happen so that you can pick that up and more? You can't just sit back. What are you going to do? Panic? You're gonna stay paralyzed and not do anything and then lose everything. You know, it's one thing when you lose everything because you roll the dice. It's another when you're not even working. All right. So there's a big difference between it. Go out, get ready, be ready to pivot, be ready to make adjustments. And hey, man, sometimes things happen, stuff happens. You're alive still, you're above ground. Did it kill you? If it didn't kill you, great job. Congratulations. Go start up again. All right. That's what it's going to take for you to be able to operate with strategic thinking. And like I said before, you don't have to be a manager. You don't have to be you don't have to have any sort of management in your title in order for you to be a leader. You need to step up, but it starts with you planning out things based on your goals. What are those goals? So don't forget, all right, that next month, November 18th and 19th, and tomorrow we're going to have the official launch of this. You've got something cool in store for you, but we've got our 2025 Path to Mastery, where we're going to work with you to make sure that 2025 is your best year yet in manufactured home sales. We got guest speakers. I've already got some already confirmed, waiting on some others. Guest speakers that are come in and pour into you, people in the industry and all walks of life within the industry, people that have done it at a very high level or that are involved as far as what would be partners for you. Okay. They're going to pour into you. We're going to go over things like time management, leadership. We're going to get into the professional development. We're going to get into planning out your 2025 and how to make it operate and for you to execute at the most effective and efficient manner possible. That'll be November 18th and 19th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. We're going to do it online. Last year we did it with the folks that we had in there, man, 20 to 50% increase in income. Some doubled their income. We want you to do the same thing another year in. So we expect a whole lot more people to be a part of it. Limited space available. So be ready for that. Tomorrow we're going to have the official launch. We are looking forward to having you there. But for right now, get on out this Thursday and make the most of it. Stack up that pipeline, help as many families as possible, and take your life, your business, your career to a whole new level. You guys have a great Thursday. And as always, I can't wait to meet you.